Next, we want to introduce Dr. Boris Matejek. Boris is a fertilizer and crop nutrition registrations expert and crop protection and regulatory affairs expert from Knoell, a global registration firm based in Germany. Boris will be addressing the topic biostimulants, really understanding the harmonized rules entailed by the new European fertilizing products regulation. Dr. Matejek's role as manager, fertilizer and crop nutrition registration for Knoell began after serving as a regulatory manager for R&D premium products for Eurochem. His vast experience includes professional dossier services for agrochemicals in Germany, along with environmental and fate modeling efforts as well. His PhD was awarded at the Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, University of Freiburg. Please help me welcome Dr. Boris Matejek.
Welcome to my presentation. My name is Dr. Boris Matejek. In today's session, I will give you information on how to market a plant biostimulant in Europe under the new European Fertilizing Products Regulation. Plant biostimulants are an important and rather new category of crop inputs. In the last couple of years, we saw a rise in innovation and product type segmentation as driving forces stimulating the growth of the market. And there's also a paradigm shift towards sustainable agriculture. For example, when we look at the Farm to Fork strategy of the European Union, aiming to reduce the use of conventional fertilizers to a certain extent. According to the information from the Biostimulants Industry Council, the European biostimulants market accounts for roughly half of the global market. Market analysts report that the European market ranges around $2 billion in 2022. The compound annual growth rate reported is 10 to 12%. In 2016, around 8.5 million hectares of area of conventional farming land had been treated with various types of biostimulant products. For example, humic and fulvic acids, botanical or seaweed extracts, but also beneficial bacteria. It must be noted that such kind of products may also be allowed to be used in organic farming, and thus the expected percentage of possible farming area is quite bigger. At present, no harmonized European regulation covers the placing on the market of microbial or non-microbial biostimulant products. The current regulation on fertilizers only covers mineral fertilizers, consisting of one or more plant nutrients, and is therefore not applicable to the products containing organic material. Up to now, biostimulants have been regulated by national rules and in most cases in the same category as fertilizers, even though in some European member states different product categories do exist. In this context, it must be noted that national regulations will remain in place. This means that manufacturers, distributors, and importers will have a choice between national regulations and the European regulation with regard to the biostimulant product. In any case, the national authorizations granted by European member states will remain valid. This means the new regulation will be an additional solution to market your fertilizer and biostimulant product. There are huge differences in national regulations with regard to the process, technical requirements, technical documentation and associated costs, as well as the evaluation period for approval of the same biostimulant product. In addition, the product characteristics, that means the raw materials used, the product claims have an impact on the marketing process in various countries. There is also a big difference in how the efficacy of your product is proven. Sometimes national bodies or recognized institutes have to carry out the studies. Sometimes national protocols have to be followed. Often the trials have to be carried out in the respective country, at least under comparable soil and climatic conditions. Now, the new regulation gives a clear definition of biostimulant products, which were previously at the border between fertilizers and plant protection products. With the entry into force in 2019, biostimulants already have been excluded from the scope of Regulation 1107, which regulates plant protection products. Plant protection products include growth regulators, which are inhibiting life processes of plants, while a plant biostimulant, as the name says it, will be stimulating the life processes of plants. Thus, according to the Plant Protection Products Regulation, products would be considered as biostimulants if they stimulate the growth and as plant protection products if they reduce or inhibit the growth. The new regulation now defines biostimulants as products that stimulate plant nutrition processes independently of the product's nutrient content, with the sole aim of improving one or more of the following characteristics of the plant or the plant rhizosphere. Such characteristics are the nutrient use efficiency, the tolerance to abiotic stress, quality traits, and the availability of confined nutrients in the soil or the rhizosphere. Consequently, the functions will have to be justified when claimed on the label of a biostimulant. The regulation further specifies that plant biostimulants should have the effect claimed on the labels. Please let me point out here that so far no guidance document for the implementation of the new fertilizer regulation has been published. Anyway, manufacturers or importers, distributors or other economic actors placing a product on the market must submit a dossier of technical information and test results to a so-called conformity assessment body when they intend to use the CE mark on their plant biostimulants and to place them on the European single market. The justification for these claims is verified by an independent body during the conformity assessment process. Due to the lack of clear guidance, members of the European Biostimulants Industry Council published an article that proposes several principles to allow justification of label claims for biostimulants. In this article, the use of existing data, for example from published literature, is given great importance as a first step of the justification. However, in most cases, new experimental data will be also necessary. Those could derive from controlled conditions of lab and growth chamber trials, but also from field trials. Let's talk about how the CE marking process works. CE marking is the official conformity marking placed on products. It allows for free sales in all European member states, but also states that joined the European Free Trade Association, marked in green. To affix the CE marking on products, manufacturers or any other concerned party must make sure that all necessary conformity assessment procedures have been completed with success. For biostimulant products, two different modules can be relevant. This depends on the compounds from which your products are made. Module B covers only the product's design phase, and it specifies the need for a third-party conformity assessment. That means a notified body. The notified body will need to examine the product's technical design and, afterwards, verify and attest by issuing an EC-type assessment certification that all legislative requirements applicable to the product are met. Module C covers only the product's production phases and follows Module B. Here, the manufacturer needs to make sure that the product is compliant to the type specified in the EC-type assessment certification at any time. Conformity Assessment Module D1 covers the quality assurance of the product's production process. This module covers both design and production phases, but it is mainly concentrated on the latter one. In this module, the manufacturer of a product is allowed to use a self-issued declaration of conformity instead of an EC-type examination certificate. However, an approved quality management system is required for the control of the product's production process. The quality system should conform to international standards and must be operated by the manufacturer. Please note A notified body is required to assess its compliance with the required standards. Before I close, please let me point out that the new fertilizer regulation does not yet apply, and standard development for the implementation is still at the very beginning. Harmonized European standards are currently under development by the responsible technical committee of the European Committee for Standardization to explain how to justify biostimulant claims. Therefore, strategies for current projects still have to rely on national rules. If you have further questions or you need advice on your individual products, please do not hesitate to contact our team of experts. Knoell will be able to give biostimulant manufacturers the best advice possible for future projects.